I feel like that pile of books seems much smaller than it should, but some of the things I read I don't have copies of anymore. Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video, we are going to be doing my monthly wrap-up for the month of June, which was a pretty busy month, and it was definitely a month of some really mixed results for me. I had some highs and lows, some mixes, and some other stuff that was going on here. So we're going to talk through everything, though, that I read this month. I do have, as always, reviews for just about everything here, or it will soon if I don't already, which I mentioned there, but you can definitely check those out, and I'll try to link them in the description. But with no further ado, let's jump in. So we started off with The Winter King. I wanted to start the month strong, and it did not really turn out that way because I very surprisingly was not really a big fan of this, and it's the kind of book I very much expected to love and enjoy based on what I've heard of it. But for some reason, this one seemed to just be the prose, the writing style, whatever it was, just did not click very well for me, and so I just found myself not super engaged and just kind of bored and not really enjoying this one. So I don't know if this is just maybe Bernard Cornwell's not an author that's going to end up being for me, or if it was just this is a fluke, but wasn't the strong start I was hoping for. I did talk more about it in a review as well. You can certainly check out if you want to know more there. But yeah, it was a little bit of a mixed start. Then I did Cold Silver for Souls by Tori Tekken. I threw this in because I had pre-ordered it and wanted to get to it, and it's pretty short, and I wanted to really mix it up, which there's a few, you'll see here, things where I really wanted to get things mixed up. I will still point out that I feel like the guy here looks like Pedro Pascal. I don't know, you probably can't see that well because the camera's focused on moi and not super up close, but just a fun little tidbit with the cover. But anyway, this is very much, it's a Western. It's like a fantasy Western, but it very much feels like a Western. And I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it just because I'm not usually a huge fan of Westerns. But this is, I commented in my review too, this is like the second Western I've done of somewhat late that I've actually really enjoyed, and specifically enjoyed the Western elements. And so that was fun. But this is, yeah, a different take. The main character is a necromancer who's a bounty hunter and has a corpse coming along with her. And we're doing a lot of the sort of the Western tropes where you have like the rich mine owner and that type of thing, and setting up some bads, but also just being a bit more character focused, looking at this character dealing with being a necromancer, and also another young character who ends up having to kind of deal with some of that stuff too. And so I think it was an interesting change of pace and one I had a lot of fun with and enjoyed, and I'll definitely be checking out book 2 once it is here. Then I had Winter King, I should mention, was a patron pick, and my top tier patrons get to pick once a quarter a book for me to read, and I ended up getting to pretty much all of them at the end of the quarter, and mostly right around this month for whatever reason, for most of them anyway, and so that's kind of where it went. But I also had City of Lies, which was another patron pick by Sam Hawk. This is the first book of Poison War, and this one was also one that I had some mixed feelings on, but just has such a cool premise, and it's we're taking our main character is a poisoner / like a proofer who is just responsible for knowing the poisons, or he's the heir to the current one. But we're doing this sort of thing where like important people have died, and now the younger next generation has to step in. But just kind of looking at this, and then we spent a lot of time with like a siege, but looking at all of it through the eyes of a poisoner, a proofer, I just thought was a really interesting take. So while there were some familiar things and I didn't like the execution of everything, I really liked just the core premise and that idea and the lens of that, the story being told through that really worked well for me. And so I enjoyed that, and I do plan to get to the second book. I've heard more mixed things about the second book, but I'm definitely interested enough to continue after liking the first book. So then we keeping up with the sort of the mixed things. I started Fangs of War by E.J. Doble, and this is one that I included in a video too about first lines because I really like the first line of this book. And I really like the prologue of this book. And when I was doing that video, I'm like, why have I not actually read this book? Because I had read the prologue before. I think I did it for like the first chapter challenge, and I was really pulled in, but for some reason I never ended up reading it. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to. And I started, and then I realized why. I had never read it. For some reason, even though I really liked the setup, the prologue. Once the book actually started, it just was not clicking with me. This is another one too where I just feel like something about the style, I don't know what it is specifically, it just didn't click, and I just found myself not really being able to be pulled in. And so, not anything specifically negative here with it. I don't have a ton to say. I didn't get super far. I ended up putting it down, and I plan to come back to it at some point, but it's now the end of the month, and I've not come back to it, so I think it's just kind of unofficially become a DNF. And so it's just, sometimes just stylistically something doesn't work for whatever reason. And that one, I was sad just because I really enjoyed the first bit. So I might at some point try and go back to it, but I'm pretty sure that the same thing happened before, and that's why I never actually read it. I think I started and then just kind of lost interest. So it happens sometimes, unfortunately. So with that, I ended up actually doing, just because I've been kind of mixed, and I was just feeling like doing a comfort read, which weird comfort read, I know. But so I started doing a reread of Between Two Fires by Christopher Buehlman. I love this book. I've read with the physical, I've done the audio, and I love both. And so I just kind of started doing a mix of that here and there. And I actually stopped like halfway through, not because I wasn't enjoying it. I still loved the book, but because I got out of my slump. And that's kind of what I was doing. I was feeling a little bit slumpy at that part of the month, and I was feeling really good. And I just kind of moved on and was trying to get to other things. And so I didn't end up branching back to it, but I had planned on just kind of slowly listening to it. So I might continue. I might not. I've done that before where I just go to like a book that I really, really enjoy as a reread, and I just kind of start it to just get me back. Like yes, there we go. But I ended up putting that one down and not actually picking it back up for very different reasons. But I'll definitely revisit because I've read it multiple times and I love the book. And it just, it did exactly what I needed it to. So after that, the next book I actually finished because I had some that I was reading over a chunk of time, but was The Wood at Midwinter by Susanna Clarke. And I was giving this a shot because my library had a copy. It's very short. It takes like an hour to read. And my library had a copy. So I'm like, you know what? I'll try it. And it's a short story. And it just is, I don't get it. And I made a video about this actually, despite it being so short, just because I feel like with this author, again, it's something where maybe they're just not for me. But with this short story especially, it's just like it had some like atmosphere, but then it just sort of ends. And the ending felt abrupt. It didn't feel like it did anything, accomplished anything. It didn't feel like there was much of a point. And I guess, not everything has to have a point. But it just, I felt like I'm like, was there something? Like, did I miss something? I asked that question in the video. Nobody told me what I was missing, so I don't know. I'm sure somebody has an idea, but I just like, I don't know. I don't get it. It was fine. It wasn't like bad, but there was just not much to it. So it's granted, one of the issues I've had with short work. I know it's not all like that. I used to think I just didn't like short work at all, and then I found short stories. I found novellas, shorts that I actually quite liked. We'll talk about that in a bit as well. And so this just wasn't one of them, unfortunately. So that's kind of where we ended up going. Speaking of novella short work, I also did Windland Vale by Tobias Youngblood. This is a prequel novella to his Projectionist series, which is a bit more urban fantasy. This, though, is like more high fantasy, epic fantasy. And this was a review copy, and he pitched originally his main series to me, which sounded less like my thing initially, but then he pitched this because this is the main characters are these insectile shapeshifters, which was honestly enough for me to be like, yeah, I want to read that. I like really when you mix it up and do things like this, and it is as delivered. It takes place this isolated pocket of this world where these insectoid creatures that can shapeshift are, and it's dealing with a lot of with what's going on and them kind of finding out more about the world. And then there's some bad stuff that happens, and apparently there is a plot line dealing with like the aftermath in the main series. So I am really curious and will actually be continuing, and I wasn't sure, but this worked really well actually. And so this one did accomplish, I think, as like a primer, get you interested in the main series. It worked really great for me, and now I'm very curious about the main series, so that worked out pretty well. Then next, I did another shorter one, Witch World, which I was borrowing. My library has a hardcover bind up of the first 3. I have book 2 in a physical, the paperback with like the original cover. Like this was the original cover, but I returned that since I didn't have this. And Witch World was another mixed one because I didn't dislike this or particularly like it. I just felt like as soon as I put the book down after finishing it, it just almost was like it was all gone. And like I remember reading it, I remember the details about it, and again, it has a very interesting premise where it takes place in our world, and the main character ends up getting transported to the witch world because he pays somebody to like make him disappear because he has enemies after him, and so it's setting that up with that travel between worlds, and he ends up getting into this war fighting in this world. So it sounds really interesting, but I don't know. It felt kind of bland to me. It didn't really do that much of anything, whether it's character, world building, writing, like nothing was standing out. So I'm still, I've been saying, and I'll see if I end up actually doing it, but I have, the second book is very short. It's under 200 pages. I have a mass market paperback. I like the old school art, so I might still try it just to see if I feel any different, but just, I don't know. It didn't really do a whole lot for me. So it was another not the strongest read that we had there. So then I also spent some time in June reading books that I can't talk about because I have like a secret project, which I won't give any more details on. But I did read some other books that I can't mention quite yet. And then getting to the things that I was working on finishing up before the end of the month. And I have finished Howling Dark by Christopher Rocchio. This is book 2 in Sun Eater, and it is the last Sun Eater book that I will be reading. I did not enjoy this book. I know it's very popular and people always say that book 2 is an improvement, but the issues that I had in book 1, I felt like were still here. Some of them were worse. And I have a lot of complaints. I did just before actually filming this video, I filmed what turned into a quite long video where I'm kind of discussing and dissecting all of the things that made it not really work for me, which hopefully people will find interesting, whether you like it or not. I know, like I said, I expect a lot of people are probably going to be surprised. It's again, this is a series that I'd heard described a lot. People had made me think that it would definitely be for me and that I would really like it, and sometimes it just doesn't happen. You know, I feel like that's been the theme this month. I've had some things that felt like surefire wins that weren't, and I've had some things that were surprises that ended up working better than I thought. And so, you know, sometimes you just don't know. But yeah, I won't talk too much more about that because that video will be coming out very soon. So where I talk quite a lot. So if you want to see that, it's probably going to come out 2 days after this one. So yeah, it'll be there. But then, finishing the month with a bang. I'm not quite done yet, but I am reading The Warrior Prophet by R. Scott Baker. This is also a patron pick. So yeah, I ended up doing three of the 4 this month, I guess. So down to the wire, but getting there. But The Warrior Prophet, though, is like DB pulled out. This is book 2 of The Prince of Nothing. I liked book 1, but this has been exceptional. I am enjoying this immensely. This is just a phenomenal book. I have a nice chunk left, but I have no worries at all that I won't finish this. Because, yeah, I have like 160 pages or something left, but I am enjoying the heck out of this. And I've been taking my time with it. I've been reading this for a good chunk of the month, but with Baker, his writing style, just taking your time reading it is rewarding, and I've just really been enjoying this. So especially since I started this, I've really been enjoying it. So this also helped with me not feeling slumpy at all. I didn't want to start this with a slumpy just because, you know, books like that sometimes it's not a great way to start. But it's from the moment I started this, I just immediately was sucked back in, and I have heard this is the strongest of the series. And for me, at least so far, I did really enjoy book 1. Book 1 was great. This is just really upped it. So I'm very excited to finish this one and to continue with the last book of Prince Nothing and then read Aspect Emperor. But these are books too where when I finally started, I put off starting for so long because I wasn't sure if they were going to be for me. A lot of the things I'd heard about made them sound like they might be, but also I just know that it's kind of a polarizing series, and it's an author that does not work for everyone for a lot of valid reasons as well. But so I had put them off for a really long time, and then I also wanted to make sure that I could really focus on the books as I was reading them, so that's why it took me a while to get to book 2. But I definitely gonna have to up the speed at which I'm getting through them because yeah, this has just been excellent. So finishing off strong. I will finish that up. I'm going to be reading that for the last couple of days of the month to get it finished up here because I'm filming this just slightly before the month ends. But I'm not planning to do anything else besides this. So that's where I'm like, hey, I can film this now, and I already know that it's going to be great. So that is it, though. That's everything that I've read in the month of June. So as always, let me know your thoughts on any of the books that I've talked about, as well as if you had any highlights or lowlights in June. Always love hearing from you in the comments, so definitely let me know. Make sure to give the video a like if you enjoyed it. As always, check the links in the description for the Patreon if you want to support what I do, as well as the Wizardly Enclave Discord if you want to chat books, whether these books, other books, really anything at all. It's a lot of fun and we'd love to have you. And of course, if you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe.